everyone, and welcome back to the Italian Riviera. This week we are furnishing our very luxurious Italian villa. This is part two. It is part two. Flynn wants to let you know, if you haven't seen last week's video, you might want to check that out first, because that's just kind of the start of this. We built the house, we built 2 tasting rooms, and the vineyard, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, Flynn really wants to make sure you check that out before you continue with this video. But this week, yep, we're furnishing the inside, and we are going for a very elaborate, luxurious look on the interior. This entire build is huge, by the way. So yeah, we broke it up into 2 parts. I was kind of thinking about it and realizing there are 5 levels total on this lot. So we have our first basement level is the tasting room. Below that is the private tasting room, and then the house is 3 levels. So yeah, it's huge. It is so huge. And I really struggled with the floor plan on this place. It's been a long time since I've had that much trouble with the floor plan. I don't know why. Sometimes I think in my head I have certain things that I want to put in, and that's what happened with this. I had very specific rooms that I wanted to put in, and I think I wanted them in very specific places, and some of that worked out and some of it didn't, so it was messing a lot with the floor plan. But finally, it all came together, and I think it turned out really nice, and we'll try to kind of go through the different rooms as we go along. So obviously we did our entryway, and that is we're on the ground floor. So we have a ground floor entry area that is very luxurious, and now we're into the kitchen. So the kitchen, I went a little bit more like a rustic kind of feel to it, and then there is a dining area in this kitchen, but then there's also a formal dining room. So yeah, maybe we should talk about the rooms. So there's 4 bedrooms. There are 4 bathrooms attached to that, and I think there's 2 other half baths. Is there 3? 2 other half baths. So there's 4 full, 2 half, 4 bedrooms. There is a formal dining room. There is a formal living room. There is a regular living room. There's a drawing room, and there's an office. So now you understand why I split this up into 2 videos, because it is huge. And in the kitchen here, we can see, I had to bring the wine back since this is on a vineyard, and we have the tasting room. We had to have the wine in the kitchen. There's going to be a lot of wine at this place. So I don't know, for any of you that are following me on Instagram, I kind of had a little story last week with this build, and in my mind I was kind of picturing that this vineyard is very old. It's been here for centuries and been family owned for centuries, and that's kind of the family I created to live here for playtesting and for the video. I figured, yeah, this is a very wealthy family because this is a very well established vineyard, and that was just kind of the storyline in my head. Nothing like too fancy out there, but yeah, that's where I was going with this. As you can see, I've used a lot of CC in this build, and everything is listed below in the description, so you will find all the creators and links to everything. I try to make it as easy as possible, because I know when you're downloading a lot with CC, the chances that you have everything are probably low. Depends on how much CC you have. So I tried to make it extremely easy, but I will say, so we have a lot of House of Harlocks, we have Harry's stuff, and we also have FELIXANDRE. So that's majority of where all the CC came from. So, I mean, they have a website for House of Harlocks, and then they have kind of their individual pages, galleries on there, which is really cool. So it makes it really easy to find and download stuff. And I'm just seriously blown away at how amazing some of these creators are. And as you see, as we're building, I'm just, it's so good. So I had a blast building with CC. I don't always build with CC, as some of you may notice. I do like to change it up a bit, and I try to rotate in and out CC and non-CC stuff so we get a good variety, but I really enjoyed this. And I hope you enjoy it too. But you may have noticed, so a couple weeks ago, I didn't have a video out, and I really apologize for that. If you are not following me on social media, then you probably didn't know what was up, but I was visiting family for a week, so I kind of tried to prep as much stuff for the upcoming video, but then I took some time off, which was nice. It was really nice. So what we ended up doing was we drove out to the East Coast in the US, and my husband has family out that way, and we haven't seen anyone for a super long time because of the pandemic. So that was really nice, and actually got to do things as a family and go out and do some fun stuff. So yeah, we had a lot of fun. And the funny thing is, I had already had this all planned, and it was done before I went out, but of course we did some tasting at some vineyards out there. And you know what? Okay, here's kind of the cool thing. I was very happy. So we were in Virginia. I did not expect a lot from Virginia. Sorry, no offense. We're a little further north, and the wine in this area is very sweet, and my husband and I are not fans of sweet wine. So we pretty much don't even bother having wine in this area, just because the grapes that are grown here are sweet grapes. They make sweet wine. Yeah, so this was a nice surprise to find that they were actually growing grapes there that are producing nice dry red wines. And that was a lot of fun. We did go to, I don't know, it wasn't like one or two places to do some beer tasting. My husband and I also enjoy beer, and it's been a while, but we do make our own beer. Yeah, it's been a long time because the problem is when we make beer, even though we usually do it with friends or my brother, we have so much beer then. Even if you give it away to people, it just, I don't know, it makes a lot of beer. So we haven't had to make beer for a really long time. So we have plenty. And like, just on the down low, don't tell our beer making friends that I like wine better than beer. I'm gonna get kicked out of the club now. I don't know. I really enjoy all the flavors with beer, but there's just something about wine. I don't know. I don't know what it is. So yeah, that was fun. I'll quickly go to the build here. Gotta talk a little bit about the build. So we did our kitchen, our formal dining area, our formal living room. We have a bedroom and a bathroom on that ground level, so we're just finishing up with that bathroom before we move up to the second floor. So then, okay, back to the trip. Sorry, I'm gonna bounce all over the place. We also get to do horseback riding, which I was super excited and super happy about. I have not been able to go horseback riding in so long. I really like horseback riding. It's so relaxing, and I really did enjoy this time. It was hilly, and we actually went up and down a lot. I didn't expect that either. It's like where we've done horseback riding in the past is out in the mountains in the west, and we've done horseback riding in the mountains, so there is a lot of that up and down elevation changes, and there are mountains on the East Coast. They're just not as big as the West Coast, and I didn't expect there to be that much up and down, so that was really enjoyable. We were in the woods. I mean, nothing's green right now, but I didn't actually talk a whole lot during the ride just because I was so relaxed. And then I was super tired after, I think, because I was so relaxed. It was great, except my poor niece fell off the horse, and I feel so bad for her. Something with the saddle, we were all wondering if the saddle wasn't on tight enough. And so she just kind of like basically tipped right off, and she was kind of able to catch herself as she was falling, so she didn't get too hurt. So that was not the greatest, but we had a few that were riding for the first time and they all did really good, and I think minus that we all had a lot of fun. And so then besides the horseback riding, then we also did a little bit of hiking. That was a lot of fun. And I'm laughing because my husband is always up for a challenge and he likes to push himself. I do too. And he decided to pick a trail that was marked as hard. And I think he was thinking, you know, yep, East Coast mountains versus West Coast. The hard in the East Coast is going to be not that hard. It was difficult. It really was. The first part of the hike to get to basically where we wanted to hike, it's a trail, but it's flat. It was along a river. But then as soon as we got to that main trail, it was this massively steep incline up. And with the app that we use, it'll tell us the grading. And it was like 58% in one of the parts, which is very steep because we were thinking from our previous backpacking trip in the Rocky Mountains that I think we got to a 45% grade, which having a huge load on your back, that's very difficult. And I mean, it's not the whole time, but when you get those very intense angles going up, it's hard. So this wasn't 58% the whole way up, but it was, yeah, it was a good angle to where you're definitely leaning forward a lot to keep your balance. Thankfully, like the rock composition was very grippy, so nobody ended up slipping, which is really good. That's always something I'm worried about. And we didn't bring our trekking poles. I don't know why. I guess we just didn't think we were gonna use them, but yeah, next time I'll bring our trekking poles. So yeah, once we got up that big, giant, huge section, it was easy after that. But yeah, it was intense. It was really intense. Like, oh yeah. And so like the next day or two later, I could feel it like on the front of my legs because I do work out on a regular basis, but it's a completely different thing when you're hiking, and it's the whole going down part that, like, even on a treadmill, you can't simulate that. So then it was making me think I really need to get out and start training for when we're going to be going out west in the fall to do backpacking again, because I don't want to be that sore. And then having weight on your back. Yeah, so I have work to do. But it was really nice, and it was really peaceful where we went hiking, and the road trip part was a little long. Maybe I'm just getting old. I always used to really like road trips, but I don't know. The sitting in the vehicle, I do have to say the vehicle we have currently is not great. The seats, like, if I sit for like it's like an hour and a half, like my butt hurts. Which is weird because our previous vehicle, that never happened. So it's disappointing. Maybe that's why it's just not enjoyable anymore. I don't know. So anyway, back to the build. We are on the second floor, and this was one of the rooms that I really wanted to make sure that I got into this place since we're building this very luxurious mansion. You have a problem with this? Since we're building this very luxurious mansion, I wanted to have a drawing room in here. So, I mean, that's something that was more of like, I figured when this was originally built, and kind of just turned it into like a little bit of a sitting room with some bookshelves, and actually put a chess table in. I probably should be better at putting more activities into the builds. I'm not always good at that because I'm always going for more like realism. And some of the items we have for skill building are kind of weird and bulky, and then I end up putting them in garages, which we don't have in this build. But yeah, anyway. we are now onto the 3rd floor, and we have 2 bedrooms up here, 2 bathrooms, and the office. And I was kind of back and forth with how I wanted to do these bedrooms, and then I'm like, you know what? I don't know why, but I figured this family has 2 teenagers. They have a boy and a girl, so that's what I did with the rooms. I used some of the items from our new kit, like the wallpaper. I was super excited to use that. That one is like my favorite of the wallpapers in that kit, is the one with the birds. It's so pretty. I really like it. I think it's just a nice change to finally get some wallpapers in a kit, a expansion pack, anything. Like, I feel like it's been forever since we've gotten new stuff for the walls, like wallpaper or paint or whatever. Like, I don't know why we don't really get that often. We could really use some new colors for paint on the walls, which I will say was very refreshing about using CC for this build, is I had way more options and it was great. So yeah, I don't know. There's good and bad about both. We won't go into that, but yeah, so this is, I kind of went with very pinky colors. I don't usually do pink. Pink is not my favorite color. I don't know why. I don't know. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do pink, and especially with that wallpaper and doing a soft pink, and I was kind of trying to keep everything tied in with the rest of the house, and I knew I wanted to have these very elaborate floors, and I want these nice wood floors, and I wanted that throughout the whole build. So what, you don't like the floors? So picky. But anyways, despite having 4 giant luxurious bathrooms, I did not include all the footage just because they're very similar. It'll get too repetitive. If you stick around to the end of the video, I always have screenshots. I have Sims living it up in wherever they are. You can kind of see how things work out. And yes, all my builds are fully play tested. So if you go to download stuff on the gallery and things are slightly changed, it's because I have now play tested it and I've had to possibly change something. But I do make sure everything is functional, because it's no fun when you go to download something and then something doesn't work and then you can't figure out what's the problem. I did have that issue with this build. With the exterior, I found out that having ivy next to the stairs causes the Sims to not want to go up the stairs. Why? Like, it's a wall decor thing and it's ivy. Why? So anyway, that's taken care of, so your Sims can go up the stairs. The reason why they choose to take different stairs over others, like I was noticing that in the build, I think is purely just a Sims routing issue thing. So I have no control over that. So anyway, we're in our final bedroom here. So we have this bedroom and then we have the office, but we are getting near the end. So we are gonna wrap things up. Don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, turn on those notifications, and we will be back next week with a super fun build as always. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here, everyone, and a big thanks from Flynn too. He is very thankful. But we will see you next week, everyone. Enjoy. See you later. Bye.